Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Warped, the completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast where we provide unasked-for audio commentaries to Star Trek episodes live. My name is Matt.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Philippe.
Erin.
Minh.
And we are here 1 week later. It's nice to see you all again.
Ah, y'all look so beautiful.
How's that Indian food
For
sitting?
part
from last
2
week?
Nice.
of Star Trek The Next Generation Encounter at Farpoint. So far, Erin, how do you feel like it's been going?
I think it's going great. I was saying offline that it's wackier than I remembered. I remembered this series being rather dry as a child.
That's your 7-year-old.
Do you think
Yeah.
it's maybe because you're watching it with the Warped crew here that makes it wackier?
Well, sure, but I like that there's like Q rolling up, being like, what, in his big wooden chair. And I like that men wear skirts sometimes. They're just like walking fast and wearing.
What do you think of Q's hat when he's the judge?
I like it.
All right.
It's like he's like a chess piece.
Yeah, I was
give
going
him
to
a do.
say.
He's like a chess piece.
Something's familiar about his head.
He's like a
wear.
bishop.
Let's start the episode.
Well, okay. Hold on a second. I had something I was going to say, and you just knocked it right out of my head.
Like a cat.
Yes. So far, so good is what you're saying, Erin. You're into it.
Even better than So Far So Good, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So Farpoint, so good.
The knock on this show was, you're right, that it was sort of slow moving compared to the old action-packed Kirk, love him and leave him
Shoot
kind
first,
of days.
Yeah.
ask questions.
This is a
later,
much
Kirk.
more thoughtful and sort of cerebral show, which sometimes got it accused of being slow moving and dull. Sometimes fairly and sometimes unfairly, as we will learn over the next several years of our lives. We're 46 minutes and 57 seconds into the episode. We're watching on Netflix. Sean, count us in.
Punching the triangle in 3, 2, 1, punch. And we got 2 enterprises.
Yeah.
Or one
Wow,
enterprise
you
and
are
one
inviting some
poser.
criticism.
That's an Excelsior.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a whole-
I don't know what class it is, but it's the style of the Excelsior.
Yeah.
It's the hood.
From Star Trek
It's the
3.
hood, yeah.
Oh, is that the hood?
Oh, yeah, because they're beaming McCoy over to the hood.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to beam because he hates transporters.
Yeah.
So they had to use a shuttle.
Yeah.
You're wasting time, Captain.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Yeah,
Look at Worf wants to just like fucking shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot first.
Shoot.
I thought he just
Through
wanted
the
to change the
screen.
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the phasers look like
Yeah.
on this show.
Yeah, remote.
They do look like remote controls.
For your
or-
garage.
Why does Worf need that whole badge thing?
That's part of his Klingon.
It's a Klingon like
Cultural
sash.
sensitivity.
That's actually the one that was worn by one of the Klingons in the original series.
Oh,
The exact
okay.
same prop.
Wow.
look at that.
Connectivity.
Yeah. I like it.
He's earned his place.
But he's a Klingon, so he's sort of quick to jump to violence as a solution.
Yeah.
So, question: what's attractive to a Klingon?
So we're gonna meet some Klingon women
Yeah.
over the
pretty
course
hot.
of this show. So you will see what Klingon women
Yeah.
are like.
But is that what
Okay.
they're really into?
Yeah. Or they.
I don't care for the ridges. It makes me a little bit. I want to puke in my mouth. I'll just say.
Yeah. So insensitive.
I don't love it.
I mean,
Do you not like Asian people and their little eyes?
No, I just don't like Klingon
Oh,
ridges.
there's the fish tank.
So there's
Yeah.
the fish tank.
Like
Picard
what you
has a aquarium in his
Okay.
office, which I just kind of love as a character detail for him. But I also made me wonder, like, who was in charge of taking care of the fish?
Yeah.
There are real fish in the
ship.
fish tank.
The ship is.
No, I mean behind the scenes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like somebody on the set had to be responsible for
fish
like,
alive.
taking
Yeah.
care of the
Replace
fish.
them when they die.
Some
Ah.
PA was in charge of like feeding the fish every
There
day.
it
Yeah. It doesn't
And
have
it's
easy
nice.
access.
It looks gorgeous.
That's a fancy one. They might have brought in the professionals
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah. It probably went back to
Saltwater, that starts getting into.
some cash right
Yeah.
there.
Oof.
But it's always there.
But
So
maybe it's
whoever
just
was
like-
doing it like
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Maybe it's just a video screen that's super
No,
lifelike.
no.
No, come
This was
on.
back
It's like
in the late
at the
80s.
dentist.
there
I just meant
it
that's what
is.
it's supposed to be. Oh,
So these two had a relationship.
Okay, they're
So-
acting like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're ex-lovers,
yeah.
and she
I think they're fucking with their eyes right now.
she can speak into his
Yeah, right now
mind.
she's
talking to him.
telepathically talking to him.
They are. So
Yeah.
they are.
But they're pretending like they don't know each other in front of
A little bit. Yeah, he owns up to it.
I don't
They're
know.
not
If you're
doing a
paying
good job.
attention- yeah.
I mean, they admit that
I knew they knew each other right away, y'all.
but they
Yeah.
don't. They admit that they know each other, but they don't tell him that they are ex-lovers.
Yeah,
Aaron, are
because he
you a
wants to
little-
know everything that they did. Have you guys?
I mean,
done
Picard
it?
doesn't give a shit, as it
I
turns
don't
out.
know.
but he's
he's
seen-
really into the conversation right now.
But so, Erin, do you remember when we watched Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and there was the bald lady and
Yes.
and Stephen Collins from Seventh Heaven,
Yes.
and they had a love story.
Yes.
And they were the plot of their plot was that they were former lovers and that
Mhm.
she was telepathic. It's the exact same thing with Riker and Troy. This is Gene's second attempt to tell a story about a
ship this story,
telepathic
yeah.
girl and the boy that she used to love.
And we know what he was thinking about at night.
Yeah, that would not be good for a relationship.
No,
Telepathic.
my God, no.
Do you want to tell the fight story now?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Okay,
Yeah, good
so
segue.
as I may have mentioned, I
No.
listen to.
I'm-
I watch Forensic Files every night to fall asleep.
Oh,
right?
my God, I don't even know what this is
Fall
about.
asleep. It's like your bedtime
Yeah.
story.
It is.
Peter
Peter
Thomas.
Thomas just rocks me to sleep.
yep, yes.
Yes.
And we all
Everyone
know
knew
this.
that.
Yeah. All right. So that's-
Longtime listeners will remember.
So that happened.
Oh, that's
I was in a really
now
good
I'm
place with the
remembering.
fairy
Oh,
dust.
I remember now.
But the children were up because it's, not a school night. They're having their fun. So I'm hearing a little bit of background noise. So I kindly asked my husband to have Alexa play the rain sounds. And he goes, Alexa, play Blame It on the Rain.
Which I think meets the requirements, by the way.
It is a rain song. You're correct.
And I thought she would be amused, but she was not
I was
amused.
pissed because I was in the
She was-
Peter Thomas had rocked me to sleep, and
Oh,
then
man.
that shit woke me up. So then I had to watch 2 more Forensic Files.
First of all, she didn't even let it go. She didn't even let it
I
go.
said,
She was
yeah.
like, Alexa, stop.
Because I was trying to let the fairy dust come back, and then it just wasn't.
I mean, that's bordering on malicious compliance right there.
Then what did she do in the morning? I hadn't had any sleep because I stay up all night. That's what I heard when I woke up this morning. It was blasting.
It's a great
that's-
song.
That's
Yeah.
good. Sometimes
But
we-
I learned the song has a good message. It's basically like,
If you're
Let it
crying, cover it, pretend like it's raining. Or
No.
I don't know what the message of that song is.
don't ever take the blame for stuff. Always blame it on an external source. man.
Ah,
Good
okay.
message.
That was a good message. We were trying to think of
Yeah.
what the other big Milli Vanilli hit was to play it, but I couldn't remember it.
I'll
Girl,
think.
you know it's true.
Oh, yeah, that's
it.
right.
That.
Don't forget my number.
No, it's true.
baby.
Don't
Fun.
forget
And what
my
I was
number.
Yeah.
observing, we both were, was it really just sounds like one guy singing with some female background. So, like, how did that work? Was it an Andrew Ridgeley situation where one of them was just dancing and the other one was singing, or were they both acting
They would
like they
both
sang?
pretend like they
Neither
were
of
singing.
them were saying.
I know, but I mean,
Both
when
would
they
pretend they were singing.
But-
This woman
but when they're
is
faking
delivering the worst performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But she
in a
takes
one scene role.
takes a gander at the Riker.
what was she
Good.
doing
Yeah.
wrong?
Really?
What's
The
happening?
goose.
It's just a really, if you could hear the sound and listen to how she's talking,
Yeah.
it's just a really bad performance.
Yeah.
It's like, whose friend of the producer is
Yeah.
this? Because
But
she's clearly not a professional actress.
And she.
see?
She's checking that ass out.
Yeah.
There you go.
She's just there to show that the ladies like the
Do you think
Riker.
she added that, or the director added that, or it was all written in?
No, it was
I think his
impromptu.
ass added that.
I think she was actually looking at Jonathan Frakes' ass.
Yeah.
man. We'd like to think that.
I mean,
know.
what do
Look
you
at
say,
that
Erin?
ass.
Is that a?
I think those pants
F
could be
right there?
tighter.
Oh, am I supposed to look at his ass right now?
I don't. Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, not right now because he's facing us.
Yeah.
That's his front end.
There you go. Ooh, there you go.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
Oh,
side-
he
Look at those
does.
apples.
I was actually much more interested in the environment. Where are they?
The
Look
holiday.
how
This is
skinny-
the holodeck.
Look how skinny he
Yeah,
is.
he becomes much
Oh.
more barrelly later
So
on.
what's the point of this? Then?
So this is where people can recreate. They can have they have a deck. that's dedicated
he wanted to be in a forest.
yeah,
Full of jizz.
yeah.
He's going to find Data. Data is chosen to be in this
Oh,
environment.
Okay.
This is Data's choice.
So this is the place where a lot of
it's
episodes.
virtual reality.
Yeah.
It can create any.
That's fun.
And it can create any
That seems
scenario you want.
useful for a
Yeah.
show.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
very-
they do a lot of episodes set on the holodeck.
So when they need there's kind of a sort of meme about when you don't know what to do with an episode, you put Data in the holodeck. And
Yeah.
so that starts pretty early here.
The first episode.
Yeah, because then you can say, oh, what would Data be like in the 1930s gangster era? What would Data be like as Sherlock Holmes?
You know, like on
the
Nice.
Data as Sherlock Holmes episodes.
Oh, I
are
can't wait for
terrific.
that.
Classic.
Yeah.
So we'll see that in approximately
10, 12 weeks, maybe. One of them's a season 1 episode.
Oh, are we getting into things?
I just wanted to see what that one was going to be. I didn't know it was going to go so long.
Now, that's definitely going to have to be bleeped out. That's trademarked.
It is?
That's a trademarked phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns the trademark, Michael Buffer.
Well, it's on the
Wait,
soundboard. I don't
who?
know what to tell you.
what is the sound?
That's the guy who does
Let's get
unboxing,
ready
man.
to
Play it again.
Just play it all episode long.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why they have to say, like, let's get it on in in various other.
Record scratch. I am totally curious to imagine what all of our individual holodeck environments would be like.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared for Philippe. I really am.
You should be. You would be right to be.
Yeah.
They actually do a good episode where somebody has kind of like a kind of creepy sort of holodeck experience that's a little bit more disturbing, where he's like recast the people of the crew as like parts of his fantasy.
That's the Barkley episode.
Yeah, the Barkley episode, which is kind of
Charles
cool.
Barkley?
The Lieutenant Barkley.
Oh.
He's a
It's a dog. It's a dog character.
It's a good episode
That's a
because
good name for
it's a
dog.
good episode because it addresses the fact that if the holodeck existed in the real world, it would
People
be
would
used
abuse
for
it.
porn
and creepy stuff.
and creepy stuff. And
And this was as close as
and
they
would
could
be
get to that.
exceptionally addicting.
Yeah.
because like any new technology, one of the first things it gets used for is porn.
yeah.
Like when they invented, records,
Yeah.
like vinyl, like they were making sex
Records.
records.
Yeah.
Sex
Oh, but
records. I
without
don't even know
sex-
about that.
Without sex,
There's
no
sound records for porn.
Yeah, well, there were when records were
Can
new.
we get some?
Yeah, it's called rock and roll.
What?
Are those available?
Because the first thing that anybody does with a brand new technology is figure out a way to masturbate.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the holodeck is real in this future means that there's some bad people going into the holodeck.
That's just normal people.
Yeah,
Wow. They're
freaking-
not bad people.
Oh, no.
As long as the porn is, okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's yes, sure, you're right.
Hey.
Super strong.
Data's super strong because he's a robot.
Yeah.
Will
Did we tell you he was a robot? Did you know that part?
Android,
Aaron?
not a robot. Android.
I knew that,
Okay.
but thanks.
There's
So
a
now we're
difference.
going to see how Picard hates children because
Wesley's just failed
Is
his
there
first.
something different about an android than a robot?
androids
Yes.
have
And humanistic sort of
organic?
Okay.
organic parts, and robots are just robots.
Robots are mechanical.
Well, you would say an android's a type of robot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
just like a
They were
toaster is a
not
type of
androids
robot.
at the competition today.
No, those would have all been robots. See, and look at another 80s sweater. He's
Just
got
like
on.
a
Look at that
vibrator
look
is
at
a
that
type
thing.
of robot.
It's like Kirk Cameron over there.
Yeah.
That does.
Well, Wheaton.
Yeah. I like that.
So Wesley's whole deal, Erin, is that he's like a super genius, and he really wants to get a peek up at the bridge because he's excited to be on the ship.
Yeah.
But she's like, Captain Picard doesn't allow children to be on the bridge. So
Yeah. He doesn't
answer
like
is no.
children. He doesn't like you.
I was reading on Wikipedia today that Wesley was originally Leslie, like it was supposed to be a girl, and then Gene Roddenberry,
Oh.
for reasons of his own, decided to change it to be a teenage boy. But it was originally Leslie Crusher,
Mm.
Well, it was the right
a
call.
10-year-old girl.
It was the right call. Because he knows that, like, at this point, like, most science fiction was consumed by, like, the wish-fulfilling
Teen
nerd
boys,
fantasies of
Well, he was
But
one
if you had a
himself.
teen girl playing that character, don't you think all the teen boys watching
No.
would have been in love with
Into
her?
Nope. I mean, they would have, but I don't think it would have attracted as much of an audience. Because if you're just gonna watch like hot teen girls, you're just gonna like watch MTV or something. I don't know. I think they
Those
wanted
kids in their MTV
Yeah. MTV was on in this time.
gyrating their hips.
Speaking of
Ouch.
hot, yeah. Oh yeah, this is
Erin, do you want to know what's going on the planet? Are you interested
Please.
at all in the story?
Say it.
Are they inside that pointy thing now?
They're
Yes.
underground,
They're underground.
in this city. So the ship has gone to this planet because there's this station that's been built on this planet that suspiciously is sort of perfect for what Starfleet needs. And all of these weird things have been happening down on the planet, almost as if everything you ask for kind of magically appears in front of you.
Well, it was almost like a genie bottle they're in.
Yeah, exactly. And
It
so they're
reminded
trying...
me of I Dream of Jeannie's house, except there's less throw pillows.
Yeah. They've figured out that something weird is going on the station because the station leader, who's that old guy with the long gray hair, sort of keeps avoiding their questions.
Cloris
and
Leachman.
refusing
Yeah.
to tell him.
Because there's also someone
going
with a Afghan on their head.
Right.
And Troy keeps sensing this sort of like feeling of despair and pain, but she can't really tell where it's coming from yet.
Mhm.
Almost as if it is all around her.
Look how emotional she has
There
to
it
be.
is.
This is
There she is.
rough
Yeah.
for like the first
I know.
episode. Oh man, pain.
I like that she's had her nails done like, quite clearly.
This is essentially Picard, Spock with the
Yeah,
horn.
Yeah,
Horda,
right?
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, they needed,
Anybody else have any thoughts? We just abruptly all stopped talking.
I know.
At the same
This is an
time.
interesting scene.
I told you this is going to be the challenge of this show.
Yeah,
is it's a
not-
little
not
bit better
watching
than
this show.
yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
expect this much like genuine emotion
Yeah.
sort of portrayed on Star Trek so early on.
And then
Her hair, magnificent.
yeah,
You know, desperately trying to escape the gravity of the late 1980s.
frizzy and fantastic.
Yeah, that hair I said earlier, it's like a character unto itself. Like she has a lot of hair to wrangle.
There's a lot of 80s. I mean, you can just tell from looking at it. Even though they're trying to make it look like the future, it's 1987's
Mhm.
vision of the future,
Mhm.
which just manages to look like 1987.
Sure, but it still somehow feels like I don't know, modern enough. It doesn't feel super dated. You know, like the original series feels dated right now.
Uh-oh.
But this,
What is going on? Who put that? Let that up
Kid.
here. Turbo, lift yourself back to the.
Oh, I was gonna say, judging from the touch screens in the medical bay now, are we losing Screeny forever?
there is still a screeny, but it's not the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the magic's gone. Screeny just looks like every other screen on this whole shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's nothing distinctive. There's nothing distinctive.
Doesn't have a
about
blood
Screeny.
or
No, there's no
lungs.
dials. There's no scan. There's no knobs.
No unicorn.
There's no
penis.
unicorn
Unicorn.
penis.
Wow.
It's
No
a real
Screeny
letdown.
peenie.
There's also no wall gecko on this
Oh.
show.
Magic.
That's right.
So we are
Damn.
losing some beloved friends
Yeah.
as we move into the
Well,
next phase of our
The
show.
wall
food has
gecko
also evolved in
materialized
later episodes.
In our life,
Yes, we have our own wall gecko
Yeah.
now to
Yeah.
commemorate.
Yes, we do. We have a wall gecko hanging on the
We'll
wall.
never
Thank
get
you, TJ Maxx.
medical
Yeah.
advice.
Thanks, TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
Please feel free to sponsor our podcast. If anybody from TJ Maxx is listening to this,
That was so fun when I went. I was just looking for something completely different.
You were
And
just
I-
like, surprise
I was
me,
rifling through
TJ.
that pile, and I found that. I was like, "You're coming home with me."
I like that they call it a turbo lift. It sounds like a kid named it. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
the
fat.
turbo
It's
lift.
turbo. It's got a fucking turbo in it. It's like that's like
but
a
it
fucking
doesn't
car
seem
term.
to go very fast.
I know. It's super
weird
it's super
first
sedate.
person shot that's happening right now.
Oh, this is like what it's like.
He
wanted
to make you feel like you were Wesley.
Stare right into the camera, Patrick.
Try it out. This is like
I feel
VR
something's
porn right here. You're like for some nerds. You're like
So when Picard first met Wesley a few minutes ago, when he was all wet, he didn't know who Wesley was. He just knew that he was a weird boy on the ship. Now he's learned that it's Dr. Beverly Crusher's son, Wesley.
So are we going to find out it's his kid?
No.
No.
What kind of show do you think we're watching? Soap opera? This isn't Flowers in the Attic.
something amazing.
I'm just wondering why he's acting weird.
This
If it's
isn't
like
Star
he
Trek
secretly
2.
knows it's his
Well,
son.
he got his father killed.
He's being nice to Wesley because he
Get off the bridge.
feels a little guilty
Oh.
about the fact that Wesley's son died.
Oh.
Wesley's son. Oh shit!
Wesley's dad.
That'd be great.
He's
Those
already,
little flip screens, and those go away.
Yeah.
I think in season 2,
That's
Yeah.
good. They don't need those.
it becomes just
Look at
they're
those
always
chairs,
open.
man. Like that
I
one
wanna
was-
sit in
That
those.
one, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something.
they look like a speedboat chair.
Yeah,
They look comfortable.
they do look comfortable. They look
Like-
very ergonomic.
You would totally want to bone in those chairs.
But yeah, the chairs that like the chair Worf's sitting in, those slopey chairs that they sit in.
They're so low to the ground.
They're so low to the ground, and they're like,
You would fall asleep in
Yeah.
them, right?
They're just like they're
and
awkward.
the swinging consoles that swing
Yeah.
in. So that
The
they're-
lit dome, also the
It is-
vaulted dome is
it is
awesome.
This HR became much more important in Starfleet in the 79
Ergonomics?
years because suddenly HR is like, no, people are going to get carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
We're going to need swingy consoles
Yeah.
for them to put their hands on.
They had a lot of consultants probably help design this stuff.
Yeah.
Not this.
I mean, it does kind
Not
of.
this saucer alien though. That was
Well, that was the same guy that did the cylinder ball.
the death pipe in Star Trek 4.
The death pipe.
I love that death pipe.
It's my favorite.
Death pipe was great.
It's my favorite metal song. Well, he goes on. Like that.
It continues on from there.
Yeah,
You can imagine what happens next.
you fill in the blanks. It's metal.
That's the new
Consultants.
song for forensic
Yeah.
files. It seems like it should be.
Yeah. That sounds like an
by
episode.
the way, in the suitcase, it was
What?
Oh, yeah. What was in the
yes.
suitcase?
it was a
Can we guess?
torso, and then it was like
Oh.
3. There were 3 suitcases.
That particular one was not the torso. That one was the lower legs.
That's gruesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
I've been doing a rewatch of Hannibal. You guys ever watch Hannibal?
I love
Yeah.
Hannibal.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard so many.
Matt-
Oh,
people
Erin,
praise it.
this show is for you.
It's amazing.
It's all about serial killers.
Funny enough,
Yeah.
They do some elaborate
she doesn't like
serial killing in that show.
She has a very.
I have to be careful with my serial killer part of it.
She likes them.
It's complicated. That's why we also fought last night, because I have to. It's a.
Okay, so there's only a few like she likes forensic files, but the person that's killed has to be over a certain age, and it can't.
Especially if I'm going to sleep to it.
And it
If it's
can't
my
be-
sleepy time.
It can't be a
forensic
serial
files.
killer for the last episode. Like she can do serial killers like
to start.
During the daytime.
during the day or
Get
early.
you all riled up. Is that what the
Yeah.
problem is? Can't go to
It's
sleep.
the difference
after-
between coffee and tea, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
she
like-
can't
Thank
do.
you.
They're too coffee.
So I had to explain all this to you.
I like to make her explain it as if I don't know it.
So what are you looking for? Like
47th
white
time.
collar crime, espionage, little.
I mean, murder is fine.
just casual murder.
okay.
Murder,
Not like
murder.
Of an
serial
old person.
killer,
Murders of
It's gotta be an old
adults are
person.
fine.
I prefer my murders having some kind of context than it's just somebody who likes to kill people.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
You like more of an Agatha Christie type
Yes.
mystery
So
where
I have occasional
Where the killer,
interest in
like,
serial
you
killers,
know,
like
did it for the insurance money
Yeah.
or whatever.
Exactly. There's a motivation.
Yeah, I
But-
understand that.
Well,
because it makes murder seem like something you can understand.
Well,
Right.
also the
That's
cases,
what's comforting.
the
that's what's
cases are
comforting
just
about
more
murder
interesting.
mysteries.
Like honestly, the cases aren't as interesting when it's
if
just
there's no like plot
yeah,
or
yeah, exactly, because it's just like okay, this guy
just liked to kill
This guy
people.
just like-
then
likes
the
killing
story
hookers
is
or
really
whatever.
just finding that person.
yeah,
stuff.
and then
that's
like
what's
it's usually like years and years until like the technology catches up. I mean, honestly, like that's like a way a lot of these things.
Erin is always about what is the new technology.
Everyone needs to see Knives Out now that it's on. It's out on streaming. You guys can watch it.
Yeah, it was good. We enjoyed it.
Oh, did you guys watch it?
Yeah,
I loved that. Did you love it? I loved it.
We enjoyed it quite a bit.
I'm sorry.
I'll say I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it.
She didn't love it, but we enjoyed it.
Well, what I wanted was more of the people going room to room, like in
that was the
I
one
wanted
thing.
a little more wackiness.
Yeah,
Yeah, more of the mystery part.
We like when it's like. I just felt like more of the interactions between all the suspects, which would have been just
more
of a we're all trapped in here and no one's allowed to
and
leave.
like just useless layers on layers of like things. But I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it
because we love that genre.
Great cast.
Yeah,
terrific cast.
Yeah, I just wanted to see more of them like interacting with each other.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Are they just watching this town be destroyed?
Well, they don't have any choice, man.
Not a whole lot they can do about it.
I like how quickly this episode sort of develops the Riker and data connection.
Yeah,
it's like Riker sort of like goes through a emotional thing where he's like, okay, yeah, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, sure. Data's he's a little bit like, I don't know about having a robot on my ship. Yeah. And by the end of this, he's like, Data's awesome.
Yeah. He's like, we're friends now. You're sticking with me, kid.
But Data's main friendship is with Geordi, and that does not get developed until later on. Yeah. We don't see that begin.
But I have to say, like, Data is so well developed right now in episode 1. You know, it feels like Brent Spiner has already fleshed him out and really made some strong choices with him.
Data is the Spock of this show. And like Spock, he almost immediately became the breakout character of this show. People loved Data.
Sure.
Women loved Data. There is a lot of Data fanfic out there.
We got Data is strong.
I do not go for
He's
Data,
fully
guys.
functional.
Whoa, you're not.
You'll grow to love him.
I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll just have to take my word for it.
And the Spock powers that Data doesn't have.
Don't like the eyeballs, don't like the ridges. You're just not ready for space.
Yeah, I mean, maybe space is not for you.
Stay here on Earth.
I think you're in your happy place.
You like guys with big hats, though. Look at that guy.
Yeah. It's like the flying
He's got
nun.
nice lips.
Yeah, he does.
Well,
John Delancey, for viewers of Breaking Bad, John Delancey has a small but crucial.
Oh yeah, what a tragic
episode. A couple of episodes. Guest appearances on Breaking Bad. Yeah. Do you remember when Jesse was dating
Kristen Ritter?
Yeah. And they were doing heroin together or meth together.
Yep.
And she was choking out on her own vomit, and Walt comes in and could save her life, but decides not to. And it's one of those like episodes where you see the evil dial gets turned a little bit higher.
Yeah,
because he lets her die. It's an amazing episode of television. Yeah. But anyway, John Delancey played that girl's father. So there's a scene where Walt bumps into him at a bar,
right?
And John Delancey's character,
I'm feeling Data right now.
John Delancey's character is drunk. And he is like devastated because his daughter has died. And then it turns out that he's an air traffic controller and he was drunk on the job the day that the airplane crashed, which is the big like metaphor of that whole season is all about the flashbacks to the plane crash. So Walt is inadvertently responsible for the death of all of the people on that airplane.
Right. And that was
anyway, I don't know why I was talking about Breaking Bad.
It's John Delancey.
Nice.
And he's amazing.
Thank you for that.
What,
hey, Jake, I was going to ask you something. This is technically a correction corner question. I guess I could wait.
No.
Or should we do correction?
Let's do fucking correction corner.
We're never going to get to it.
Very Princess Bride to me.
Yeah, he looks like the Miracle Max there.
I was thinking Jonathan Pryce from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
I
the
was
Sparrow is
Billy Crystal and
whoa.
Yeah.
What the heck? Little Ghostbusters there.
There's some stuff going on. They're not overreacting over there.
They've seen that before.
They've seen shit like this before.
Did Data grow on you just in the time that I was talking about Breaking Bad?
He sat up very Android.
Yeah,
He sits up. He sits up very straight.
I liked how his body moved.
Britt Spiner is a great actor. He was in the original Broadway cast of Sunday in the Park with George.
Oh, really?
A couple of years before this.
And I hear he does an amazing Patrick Stewart impression.
He's a bit of a song and dance man.
Yeah.
He put out an album during these years that they were on the show. He put out an album of him singing like old standards, like Sinatra, Tony Bennett style, Rat Pack style standards, and he called it "Old Yellow Eyes" because Data has yellow eyes. That was the title
Erin
of his
was saying she
album.
Really feeling Data's eyes.
Yeah. She's gonna get past it though.
You'll get used to him.
So.
He loves cats, Erin.
Okay.
If that makes you feel any better.
That does.
It makes her. I just felt her.
And his
feet
whole deal
curl.
is kind of his whole deal, Erin. His whole deal is the flip flop of Spock's old deal. Spock's old deal was that he was always trying to suppress the human side of himself and embrace the Vulcan side of himself. Data, they just reversed the formula.
He's like the Tin Man.
So Data is a robot who desperately wants to be human. And so because he does not feel emotions, and all he cares about is like understanding more about humanity and trying to become more human. So that's his like backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He gets to be the vessel so we can feel wonderful about what it is to be a human.
And he was absolutely, he's the Spock of this show.
Yeah.
Because he fills the role of the captain's going to say some things about the nature of humanity now, and someone needs to hear it. Yeah. So it'll be Data. Yeah. Like on the old show, that was Spock, you know?
Yeah.
You guys said that Troy doesn't wear the skirt anymore after this episode?
No.
That's
she wears the pants.
Because she looked
She
really
actually wears
great
something even crazier because she basically wears a cat suit for a huge chunk of the rest of the show.
It's like weirdly different but similar to all the other suits. It's
never explained why she just doesn't wear a uniform. She's in Starfleet. Yeah. Like, why does she get...
She's on the bridge.
To dress however she wants.
Yeah.
She's a Betazoid.
And then at some point, like late in the year, like in season like 4 or 5, there's an episode where some other like admiral or somebody comes on the ship and basically says to her, why aren't you wearing a uniform? You're in Starfleet. Mm-hmm. And from that point on till the end, she wears a uniform. Yeah. She wears a regular uniform. But it took them years to get rid of that fucking cleavage cat suit that she wears.
Yeah. I think
cleavage cat suit.
Sometimes she wears a blue flowy thing.
I'm curious now.
But again, with a lot of cleavage.
When she's off duty, yeah.
They were really into Marina Sirtis's boobs.
Her off-duty clothes are amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Erin will be the judge of that.
Yeah.
If you like breasts.
Corrections Corner, everybody.
Yeah. Fucking do it.
Play the jingle.
Jake, play the jingle.
Correction Corner.
Let's see. Let me turn my...
Turning on the phone.
These are corrections for episode 84, Turnabout Intruder. Erin, you'll recall Turnabout Intruder because it is the last episode of the original series of Star Trek. It's the one where Picard body swaps with a woman.
Oh, yeah.
We watched that episode without the subtitles.
That was fun, though.
We didn't realize.
No,
we turned them back on after we decided to abandon the bit.
Yeah, we tried for we started that way
to dub it.
It was the last episode of the original series. Sean said that it aired on June 3rd, 1969.
Uh-oh.
That's true.
Oh.
But he said it was a Thursday, and it was actually a Tuesday.
Jesus, Sean. Jesus.
You have the power of the internet at your fingertips.
The internet lied to me.
This whole thing is a sham.
Oh, my God.
Shut it down.
We also noted that it aired in June, and the last episode before that had aired in March.
Yeah.
So the final episode of Star Trek didn't air until 2 months later. And we sort of speculated that the reason for that was that they were just burning it off. They just canceled the show, but they had one more episode that they had filmed, so they just stuck it on in the middle of summer just to burn it off. That's not actually right. The final episode was meant to air on March 28th, which would have been 1 week after the last one. But Dwight Eisenhower died that day.
Oh.
And so Star Trek was preempted by news. By like
that happened then.
Dwight Eisenhower?
Yeah.
That's like
Ike. Former President Dwight Eisenhower, the man who won World War II.
Yeah.
You've heard of him.
Yeah. I didn't imagine that man was alive during our time.
He's not our time.
He died in 69. He did not live in your time.
He wasn't a president anymore.
And he just died of natural causes.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
was
like
old
he
as
was
hell.
shot or anything.
He was 700 years old.
Stop fighting, you guys.
Yeah, still, guys.
Oh no, Dana Troy! It senses anger and hostility.
Yeah, she senses anger and hostility. I love Troy.
Yeah.
Wait, who's that in the back?
That's just our rando.
No, that was Tasha Yar.
No, it wasn't, because she had long hair.
I'm kidding. It's her stunt double.
There's Tasha's down there with them.
I know. I just thought they got this.
There's a not Uhura in Turnabout Intruder. Nichelle Nichols isn't in that episode for some reason. So there's a not Uhura that we noticed.
Do we know the reason?
But her name is Communications Officer Lisa, and she was in 2 other episodes. But in the other 2 episodes, she played a character named Angela Martine. So anyway,
She
was
must
in
not
3
have been
episodes.
that great. We don't remember.
Jake did a show tune quiz that we did pretty badly at, trying to guess the lyrics of show tune songs. I don't know why I wrote that down. My note just says show tune quiz. There must have been more, but
How do you think we did on your quiz today, Jacob?
Pretty terrible.
Yeah, we did a little bonus quiz for everybody.
Did you think like we met your expectations?
I think Sean was participating.
Yeah. he's the one who's gonna know.
How dare you?
can say.
Yeah, it was good.
We were trying.
That got quite a few.
It was difficult.
Is it weird that they're all red?
It was
shirts
more
now?
difficult than I thought. So you guys did fine.
Yeah, they changed the colors around.
Yeah, because they don't.
Because they had already, because there was always this stereotype that the red shirts got killed.
Yeah.
So they made red command, which used to be yellow. They made engineering yellow, which used to be red.
Yeah.
And they kept red. They kept blue. Blue is still blue.
What color would you call
Science.
security?
Science
Security
and
is
medical.
yellow.
Yeah.
Security and engineering are yellow.
Right.
Medicine and science are blue. Command is red.
Is that green color what you call yellow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you colorblind, Erin?
Well, it's sort of gold. It's meant to be the same color as the gold.
The
from
classic
the
gold.
original.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk's uniform.
Hey, you're
Is
right
this
that
what
it's
we
not.
find out
It's
on
more of
Monday?
a. It's more of a piece.
Wait.
It's more of a pea soup.
That color changes a little too.
Yeah.
As
It
these
gets
things go
yellower.
on.
I thought.
It does get yellower.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because that's not a good color.
Oh, when you accidentally beam up a homeless person and you got a real awkward night ahead of you. Yeah, you can stay, I guess.
We'll put him in an empty proton torpedo.
Yeah, a
Marina
Mark IV.
Marina Sirtis originally auditioned to play Tasha, and Denise Crosby originally auditioned to play Troy.
Oh my God!
And Gene Roddenberry was like, "No, I'm going to flip that."
Yeah.
Smart, fucking
Smart man.
genius right there. Because that
Yeah.
would not have worked. I don't think.
I have a hard time picturing Denise Crosby playing Counselor Troy.
Yeah. I have a very hard time playing that.
No offense to star of Pet Sematary, Denise Crosby.
No, it's not. It's just about being properly cast.
She's on the Star Trek cruise.
Is she?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Right
I've
now?
been, yeah.
Right now?
As we were recording this, the Star Trek cruise is happening. They're in the Caribbean, and because I follow a lot of Star Trek people on Twitter, I've been seeing a lot of like pictures and stuff from the various events that they've been having on the Star Trek cruise. It actually looks like a ton of fun.
Telling you, live show
Yeah.
on the cruise.
Let's do Vegas this year, and then we can talk about the cruise.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Vegas, baby.
We were talking about whether there were societies where people eat cats,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Sounds
Absolutely.
like us.
and Philippe very funnily said Melmac, which led into a conversation about whether Alf and Star Trek ever had a crossover, like, took like his place in the same universe or whatever. So I went online and found
my God.
Alf Star Trek fanfic.
Yes.
Yeah.
This story is called, I should give credit to Samuel Stokes
Whoa.
Yes.
is the author. I found it on
What
the
the
Alf
hell is
Wiki,
going on
alf.wikia.com. It's called Star Trek: The Return to Melmac. And I'm not going to read you, I'm just going to read you like the little like
Blurb?
the little blurb
tag,
about what it's about.
Yeah.
One of the last of his race, the aged Gordon Shumway,
Yep.
dares to take over the Enterprise.
AKA Elf.
In order to attempt a slingshot maneuver to time travel back to the late 20th century to prevent the catastrophe that destroyed his home planet. But first, a light snack. That's the blurb
Yeah.
from the author.
Mittens is a
Oh.
light snack.
It sounds like a little Hannibal there.
I actually
Picturing
did
cats.
read a little bit, and it's
Is it treated seriously?
Creepy?
it's serious.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I thought it would be more jokey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
tongue-in-cheek.
But it's more like just regular Star Trek that just has Alf in it as
Sounds
a character.
great, honestly. I would watch that more.
More
I
than
loved
what?
Than this.
I thought you were liking this.
I am, but
It's only the
you
first
guys don't
episode. You're
understand.
already ready to switch
I
to
was
Alf.
really into Alf.
This shit's okay, but
Watch Alf anything.
I was
still have an
really
Alf doll
fucking into
back-
Alf.
back home.
Uh-huh.
but
I didn't know this
was
about
into
you.
Alf.
You're
I
a huge.
was-
You're
I
an
was-
Alf head.
I was really into Alf.
Yeah.
We call ourselves
So
cat
It
munchers.
just touched
Yeah.
my heart to be like, yeah, bring him on. Like,
He famously ate cats.
yeah.
Yeah, she's a complex person.
Yeah.
Soft brand for you.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he wasn't very successful at it
It
on the
wasn't
show.
on screen.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
how I do my forensic files.
Yeah.
I don't remember being watching Alf much as a kid for whatever reason. I must have thought it was too.
I was,
like,
I think,
I
just the
watched
right
silly.
age.
or
I like.
whatever.
I've read.
Yeah.
I
It
was
was
reading.
weird.
I was reading about the production
I
of
was
Alf and how
7.
torturous and terrible it was.
Really?
behind the scenes.
Yeah, because not just because also the personalities involved, but also because the way the set had to be built, where it was raised to the Alf.
Oh, for the puppet.
And it
work.
was just they had to reshoot things so many times,
So
and it
wait,
was super.
who were the
grueling.
personalities? That
Yeah,
made
was it
life
Alf?
Hard for Alf.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There was just like
It
there
was probably the other actors who
Yeah.
were like, ugh,
yeah.
I
Well,
have to deal with this fucking puppet.
yeah,
all day long.
basically that was it. Like the guy who ran the
You mean
puppet
the
was a
puppet
problem
that's
with
paying
the other
for your
people
dinner?
and taking all the credit, and people on the show was successful, but nobody gave a shit about anybody but Alf. And you know how it is when you're.
I mean, how do you promote yourself when you're playing Alf? You're like, oh, I'm
Who
Alf.
played the humans on Alf?
the guy who was the dad had a tragic story where he was like became a druggie, and then at least I'm just gonna remember that offhand. I don't know. I'm not gonna verify.
You're
it.
not sure that's true.
He
I'm
was
pretty
the
sure-
most famous
What's happening
actor
with
ahead
these
of time.
jellyfish?
The
Right.
jellyfish were like
So it
They're
turned
lovers.
out.
Oh,
it
close
turned
your
out-
eyes, kids. Close your eyes.
There's some jellyfish.
Pon
Farm. They are
Alien
Pon Farm.
They got three
Far Point.
They
Pon
got
Far
Farpoint.
Point.
Encounter at Pon Far Point.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Little jelly action.
What?
Um,
They came along with the whales.
is one a boy and one a girl?
Yeah, you can tell because one's blue and one's pink. It's pretty like
Yeah.
homophobic,
Yeah.
transphobic,
Yeah,
gender.
exactly.
whatever,
Exactly.
like-
They have to be a boy. And a
why do they have to be blue and pink?
Yeah.
Like,
Those are
why
gender
can't they both be
stereotypes.
blue?
Guys,
Exactly.
the pink
Why can't they be some neutral color that doesn't have any connotations at all?
They haven't evolved that far.
That guy's super stoked. He's like, so I can just eat anything in the fridge, right? He's like, yeah.
The homeless
She's
guy.
great in this little moment.
Yeah.
This is the moment. I just watched this again the other day to get ready for this, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And that little moment where she's expressing their emotions that she's feeling, she's really good in that little moment. And I had never really
So emotive.
noticed it before, but it kind of made me go, oh, she was good. Like right from the beginning,
Yeah.
she's good.
But the nerds didn't like her as much.
Whatever.
Yeah, at the time.
I'm a little in love with Troy.
She's pretty great.
Mhm.
And she gets better and better as the show goes along.
Like for me, Tasha Yar is she's too stiff, and maybe that's supposed to be her character. That's how she's played, how she's written.
Yeah, she's meant to be. Well, she's the chief of security, so she's meant to be sort of a bit of a
gotta be
hard ass.
Yeah.
She also has a really tragic backstory, her character, which we'll learn about.
Mm-hmm. If you've seen Pet Sematary, you'll know about it.
She lost a child to a diesel truck.
There are crossovers on crossovers.
Oh, dude.
And then Fred Gwynn was there and being weird. Sometimes.
Yeah, keep those knees together.
Everybody do your best Fred Gwynn impression right now. 1, 2, 3, go. Sometimes dead is better.
This is one of those times. I'm just going to do it from the extended.
See, there's another skirt person behind him.
Yeah.
Drink, everybody.
Why?
Why?
Oh, engage.
We're gonna
Did he say engage?
He's going to say it right now.
Yay!
Nice.
He says that.
Is that the end of the episode?
It is. They solved the mystery.
God. Ba-da-da-da.
So, what was the mystery again? Like they had captured those.
So the people who lived on that planet had come across and captured this wounded alien, and the alien was what had created that whole station and was fulfilling all of their wishes. And so the other alien that showed up was its mate, who had come to find out what had happened to it, and figured out that it was being held captive, and that's why it was shooting at the city to punish those people. So Picard figures all this shit out. Q is like, why don't you just blow it up, Jean-Luc? That's humans' answer for everything, is to blow shit up.
But Picard's
like, I'm smarter than that. And so he feeds energy. They shoot a laser down there, and it reboots the sick alien and recharges it so that it's able to escape and rise back up into space with its partner.
And then
It's a very sweet little episode. And then, because Picard had figured it out, he convinces Q that they've passed the test, temporarily at least.
And also setting the precedent of coming up with some bizarro, really happenstantial, pseudo-scientific kind of workout of to solve a impossible puzzle. There's a lot of this happens in Star Trek where it's we got to reverse the tachyon field and and this and this, and then there's
there is a lot of technobabble in this iteration of Star Trek.
Yeah, more so than
on the old one. This is not a correction. It's just something that we talked about in that episode. Jake, you had just started watching The Wire. Are you still watching The Wire?
Yeah, off and on. I'm switching off with Mindhunter.
Mindhunter's really good too. Yeah, that's a great show. How far into The Wire are you, do you think?
I'm 3 seasons into The Wire.
Okay. Oh, the weird season. Yeah.
The weird season.
Well, it kind of goes it's inner city, then all of a sudden it's the Union storyline.
So that was the end of corrections for Turnabout Intruder. I also did corrections for episode 85, which was Last Starfighter, part 1.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
And my note just says, no correction.
Yes!
Oh.
We did it, motherfucker!
Because
What?
I listened to that episode today.
We threw a no-no?
And so all we did that whole episode was talk about how awesome The Last Starfighter is.
It's all
So
correct.
there were no
Yeah.
wrong statements to correct.
Yeah.
Because we weren't saying random shit. We were just talking about The Last Starfighter the whole time.
Sounds like a terrible episode, but I
have a correction.
It's actually a really funny episode.
The Last Starfighter is not a good movie.
Oh, what?
How dare you?
Just kidding.
On
You said
Forensic
you liked
Files
it at the
tonight.
time.
I'm just kidding.
She's
Romulans.
Correction.
Yeah, she's just starting something. Blame it on the rain.
And
baby.
remember, kids, if there's a stranger in your house, just say very firmly, "Turnabout, intruder."
Oh boy, how long has that been locked and loaded?
Yeah.
Probably about 12 and a half seconds.
Oh yeah, all right.
It's a reasonable
It
amount.
was hanging in there for a bit.
So Erin, favorite characters
So
from
now
the next
we've at the end,
generation?
now that you've seen the first episode, Erin,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about the characters that we've been introduced to, and which one is your favorite?
Well, without sound, I have to say, even though I like his head, Picard's not really as interesting as a lot of the other ones.
Not yet.
That's
growing.
fair, actually.
I find the whole Motley Crue to be more interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a stick in the mud in these early episodes.
What do you think about kids?
Yeah, he doesn't express a lot.
Do you think kids should be on the Enterprise?
Well, I mean, he's practically grown. I don't know why anyone would object to a young adult compared to like a.
He is
It's
sort
a
of
military vessel. No, I'm just kidding.
research.
It's a research. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the
So do you
Federation
have a favorite that you like so far? Troy, maybe?
Is Troy the
Counselor.
empath?
Mind reader, yeah.
Empath,
Okay.
Betazoid.
The Troy name makes me think it's a dude every time you say it.
Her last name is Troy. Her
Yeah.
first
Okay.
name is Deanna.
Yeah, she's pretty interesting. I mean, I like Jordy.
She still is going to stick with Jordy.
Dirty's pretty great.
I like Jordy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see it?
It helps that LeVar Burton is like a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
If you don't follow LeVar Burton on Twitter, you should, because it's all just like
Positivity.
stuff that makes you feel happy to be.
Well,
a person.
I watched probably every Reading Rainbow episode there was.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that was my demographic too.
Yep.
But between Alf and
He does a reading podcast now.
Yeah, now he does a podcast where he reads books.
that's
You know,
nice.
Very soothing.
Well, we're done.
Yeah. We fucking did it, guys.
Yay.
Wow.
Next generation,
next
folks.
time just
Next
blew
generation.
by.
We're in
It
it.
did. It went by fast.
Yeah. I think we
Buckle
were.
up. We're starting
Yeah.
the long haul, baby.
I felt like we watched a little bit too much, but you know what? That's because it's a new show. Got to get our groove on.
I will recommend Erin.
We're gonna watch one.
I would just watch one, just to get their voices in your
Okay.
head.
Please,
One.
please watch
For
one.
the love of God.
Which one?
It would make us feel so good.
Anyone. You watch this one again.
It's actually good.
Watch the next one.
The next one is
Ooh.
you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
Data.
That's a fun one. That's a fun
They
episode.
all get drunk on the ship.
Yeah.
They get drunk and horny.
Just like us.
Yeah.
I just think you at least then you would sort of have what they sound like
Yeah.
in your head.
Because you know what Kirk and Spock
Yeah.
sound like, so it's kind of nice to have all that. Because then you can just sort of imagine.
I really think this is a very good pilot. Do you guys think that it's a good pilot?
Yes.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
It introduces all the characters.
It looks
It gives
cool.
it gives you a great recurring character in Q. I mean, these characters are still sort of not quite completely formed, but for a pilot, it's pretty solid, I think.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
got a good mystery. It's got a good story.
They have to deal with a lot of characters, which is really tough. So
You have to
They
introduce
do-
the whole
They,
cast.
and they don't do a lot of exposition dump.
which I
They
love.
sort of let the characters
Yeah.
be of themselves.
And then you kind of like
just sort of-
unearth little pieces about
Yeah,
them.
you
Figure
sort of
them out
get
by
you sort of
watching
get
their-
who Data is by Riker's reaction to him.
I think it's like a more sophisticated type of, show than like was often on, for these kinds of things where most of there's a lot of exposition in a lot of those types of character development. And this was like, I fucking loved it at the time.
Like, you don't know Tasha's backstory yet,
Yeah.
but you get
Yeah.
that she's tough and ballsy and kicks ass.
I had forgotten that Q was dropped in on this right at the
Oh,
top.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Roddenberry had years of Star Trek experience.
Well,
before,
sure.
Well,
I
and
mean,
the
hold that now.
super being that you can't do anything about
It's
was a
classic
staple
Star
of
Trek.
original series.
Yeah, the
they,
all-powerful Plato's stepchildren and
What I-
Adonai and all those episodes.
What I love is the contrast between Data and Troy right now, because Data's very, sort of like android, and he's looking for that emotion.
Desperately wants emotions.
Did they ever get together, or did they ever have any sort of like strong plot line together? Because it seems like it makes sense. Troy is an empath, and Data
they
is
don't cross
looking.
as much as other.
They don't get together. I can tell you that right now.
I always think of them as the split powers of Spock. Data is like the human computer part, and Troy
she's
is
the
like
mind
the
powers.
mind meld. Yeah.
I want.
They
fanfic.
do have they do have a nice friendship that develops over the course of the show.
Yeah.
Like, because he often goes to her when he doesn't understand some aspect of humanity, right?
Yeah.
So Troy, a lot of the time, her role on the show is to be like
a therapist.
Yeah.
and to like explain
To reveal
things to
emotions.
Data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, just watching this now, I feel like that could have been explored so much more, or so much more strongly.
It does. They don't just take their time. You know.
Well, that was pretty awesome, guys.
Yep, we're in it.
Pretty awesome.
So next week we will be watching episode 2. I guess we call it 2 because this is considered one episode. Even though it will be 2 episodes of our podcast.
Deal with that,
So
man.
really,
All the
it's
data's
episode-
out there.
it'll be
Try to figure that
Like
one
bringing
out.
back memories about
It's like trying to understand star dates. It can't
Third
be done.
movie, third part of the trilogy.
It's the third
Fourth-
movie and the second trilogy.
Yeah.
That table is not triangular.
Yeah.
That's a Warped First Blood Part 2.
It's called The Naked Now. It's a sequel to an old episode of the original.
The Naked
show.
Time?
Yep.
The Naked Time.
Wow.
Until next week,
No,
everybody.
not
Do we have
yet.
anything else we want to do?
We're just
before we
having
say
such
goodbye?
fun.
If part of the Q continuum shows up on your bridge, just remember to say, "Turn about, intruder."
You did that one already.
I don't remember that.
12 seconds.
They were casting on Twitter for, I'm just looking through my notes of things I wanted to mention. They were casting on Twitter for the new edition of Supermarket Sweep, the game
Oh,
show.
hell yes.
That Leslie Jones is going to be the host of.
That sounds
Interesting.
exciting.
And so I applied, me and
Yes.
Min. I wrote the
You guys,
guy.
I can give you all the tips.
I
on what
did
to
not
do.
agree to this.
Erin knows.
I know the
ins and
show.
outs.
I watched the show.
Does
live.
it
No,
involve
yeah.
climbing?
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
I emailed the guy and I mentioned that Min and I have both been on game shows before.
Yeah.
Was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
both of us have game show experience. And he wrote me back and he was like, they don't want anybody who's ever been on it. They're like, they don't want
You
people
could
who
have not told him.
I
Yeah.
didn't. Usually it's a plus. Every time I've ever been on a game show,
Yeah.
they like knowing that
Yeah.
you've been on a show
'Cause you
before
know-
because
you're
it
an-
means you know how it
you're a
works
veteran.
Yeah.
and you're not going to be like a problem for them.
Not
Yeah.
the
So
squeaky
I
wheel.
thought that our experience would be a perk.
Yeah.
And then he wrote back and he was like, I'm so sorry, but they're not casting. He actually said it's making casting the show really difficult because a lot of people who do game shows do more than
Yeah, because
one.
you're just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
applying to every one of them.
So anyway, we applied, but we did not get in, man. Sorry.
Wait,
That's-
you were on a game show, man?
I don't even remember it. You know.
He was.
Yeah. Apparently, I was.
Well, Jesus,
I don't think
then
I
you
won.
should tell that guy, like, I don't even remember.
Yeah, there you go. It's like
Put
it
me
didn't
on
happen.
a polygraph machine.
You didn't win. You lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I lost the
I
memories
won.
too.
Nice.
The 20s
well,
were tough
here's
for
what
you.
need to get. when you
Here's
go
another thing I
on
learned this week about
Supermarket
Min.
Sweep.
Min
Yeah.
has spent 40 years thinking that there are 56 weeks.
That-
Yeah, that was good.
I was like,
I
what the
enjoyed
fuck
that.
is going on? I was like, literally.
when Jake chimed in, I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on
So
here?
for people who are listening to this who don't know the story, I made a joke about doing a podcast called 52 Shades of Grey, where
Awesome.
we would watch the 50 Shades movie once a week for an entire year.
Yeah.
And Min said, Min replied back to the group text saying, wouldn't that be 56 weeks? 56 weeks in a year. And I was like, Min, do you think that there are 56 weeks in a year?
You know,
And it turned
honestly,
out the answer was yes.
honestly, I still do believe that. You know, I don't know what this weird conspiracy that you guys are trying to foist on
yeah.
me
The
is.
conspiracy called math.
It's a calendar, and we've had it for a long time.
Yeah,
it
we're
says
not-
56 in my head. All right.
All right.
You can't just erase that.
All right.
I was delighted by that revelation.
Yeah.
I was thrilled.
I just like that it hadn't really come up for you before in
Yeah.
any way that's like affecting.
like, how did this never come up?
I
in
can't
40
do
plus
it. I
years
can't do
of
it. It's
life?
like going from Fahrenheit to Celsius. It's just going to be 56 for me, guys. 52 is weird.
Accept this idiosyncrasy.
we were
Thank you.
we were at Anna's and we were talking about this the other day, and we were trying to get to the nut of it. Like, when did you first, like, where did this number come from?
It's just the right number. How many inches are in a feet? 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many weeks in a year?
So far, you're right on.
56.
Yeah, the last thing you say is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, it doesn't really. I mean,
It's
we
like a
know
really
it,
nice
but it
round
doesn't really
number.
matter. Like we don't really.
Yeah,
Six
we have
is not
daylight
a round
savings.
number.
It's not.
It's just more round.
No, well, it matters like the fact,
You're-
but like more work on.
All right,
weeks
I'm
and
just-
months
it
and
was
years. We
so-
don't
Okay.
really
I'm
talk
reaching
about
out to
52
all of you
weeks that
listeners who
much.
believe there are 56 weeks in a year. Please,
should
I
be
need
none.
your help.
You're
Stand up with me.
I will put a poll. Man, I'll put a poll up on Twitter that's just
It
like,
doesn't matter. We
how
only
many
have
weeks
2
are there in a
listeners
year?
right now.
Oh, you know what?
52,
Min-
54, 55,
Min, you're-
56, and
you're-
we'll see what wins.
You're thinking of the number of cards in a deck of playing cards.
No, that's
What?
52. That's 52.
Stop it.
I know that's 52. Come on.
What I mean by it doesn't matter is like it's not really a chunk that we use. It's like
Yeah.
For people who get paid,
I-
we
I-
Fair enough.
They kind of know it. But
I
well,
think
you think more on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
It's like counting. You
I'm
saying
like
I
David
have a
Carradine.
24-month-old baby. You have a
Time
2-year-old
doesn't
baby.
matter
Like, you
to me.
don't go weeks.
Min lives minute to minute.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
He does. That's why his name is Min.
100 minutes, hundreds of minutes in an hour, right?
Everyone knows there's 100 minutes in an hour.
Yeah, because nobody would use.
That's why these podcasts run so long. Because Min thinks there's 100 minutes in an hour.
Because nobody would use any other time because it wouldn't make any sense.
It's called a metric hour.
It's a metric hour.
Well, guys,
I think-
we've gone about a metric hour
Yeah,
now.
we're not going to get any better than that. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about before I do this thing?
I can't think of anything else to say with Turnabout Intruder, so.
All right.
Tune in next week for The Naked Now.
We'll see you the naked then.
Until then, please, if you are in the sound, if you can hear my voice, what was I trying to say?
Rate, review, subscribe.
No, I meant never mind.
Oh, hit that bell.
If you can hear me, please go and rate, review, and subscribe. It takes so little time, but it will really help us
At
out
least
a lot.
review.
Rate, I think, is more important even than review.
All of that. All of that.
Subscribe is the most important.
That rate. I got confused.
Anyway,
Turn
please
it
do
off.
that. It would really help us out.
All right.
You can find us on all of your standard podcatching apps, which you must know because you're listening to this.
If you can actually Google Warped Podcast, and we're up there.
Yeah.
We come up.
We're third in the name.
How far down do we come up?
After Warped,
maybe
the
first
tour
or
that
second.
got canceled.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
second.
Well, that's pretty good.
We're on the first page. We're all
First
over.
page is
Yeah.
the most important.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram at Warped the Podcast and on Twitter at Warped Trek. You can follow me at Host Warped. You can follow Min for information about our D&D and Call of Cthulhu podcasts at Wet Maynard. You can go to Patreon to give us money and get bonus content and additional episodes. I think that's it, right? Did I
Yep.
say
Alf
anything?
follows us on his CB radio.
That's it.
Thank you to our patron of the week. Who is our Patreon of the week?
the same-
It's our friend Min right here.
Oh, yay! We've been having so much fun.
Thank you so much for listening to Warped. We will see you next week. My name is Matt.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Philippe.
Erin.